Hello dear first year students, welcome to the course of Phonetics presented by Mr. Aunali Walid and Mrs. Bogufa Zainab. The main goal of teaching English phonetics and phonology is to improve students' pronunciation. As you know, English pronunciation is difficult because there is no consistency between what is written and what is spoken. This is why most students make mistakes when they speak English. Sometimes they pronounce words like when they are spoken in French, especially when the words are not familiar. This is why we teach phonetics in order to improve students' pronunciation through introducing the IPA or the International Phonetic Alphabet in order to get the correct pronunciation of words without finding any difficulty in pronunciation. In the previous two courses, we have introduced phonetics as branch of linguistics deals with the human sound making, its description, analysis, and transcription. And we have introduced the three branches of phonetics. The articulatory phonetics deals with speech organs and the function of each organ in speech production. Acoustic phonetics deals with the sound waves and what happens in the air between the speaker and listener. Auditory phonetics studies what happens in the mind of the listener and how the message is decoded in the brain. In the second course, which gives more details about articulatory phonetics, in which we have introduced in details all the speech organs and their function in speech. So now we have an idea about phonetics and speech organs. In the present course, we are going to give more details about the English vowel sounds, how they are articulated and described in details, in addition to their pronunciation and transcription using phonetic symbols. So by the end of this course, you'll be able to define the English vowel sounds, recognize the organs that contribute in the production of vowels, that contribute in the vowels articulation, distinguish between the vowels and consonants, know the cardinal vowels, recognize the different types of vowels and their articulation, identify each pure vowel using description of articulation with example words, define diphthongs, recognize how the diphthongs are articulated and represented in the vowel chart, distinguish between diphthongs and triphthongs, and the ultimate goal is to pronounce the previous vowel sounds in some words with correct pronunciation. So let's get started. If you are asked how many vowels in the English language, you will obviously answer that there are 5 vowels. That is the 5 letters of the alphabet, which are A, I, O, and U. And usually we can consider Y as a semi-vowel. But from phonetic point of view, there are 20 vowel sounds for the aforesaid letters. For example, just the letter A can be pronounced in 6 different ways. It's pronounced as O, like in call, A as in case, A as in can, long A as in class, and as schwa in American. So let's define what is a vowel. Since we deal with linguistics and phonetics, let's define the vowel from linguistic point of view and phonetic point of view. In a brief definition, a vowel is the sound which has a central function in the syllable. For example, we can find a vowel alone, like in A or I. It could be surrounded by consonants either before the vowel or after the vowel. Like in at, we have a vowel then a consonant. In to, we have consonant then a vowel. In cat, we have consonant vowel then a consonant. In streets, we have a consonant, then a consonant, then a consonant, then a vowel, then a consonant, then another consonant. Notice that in street, we have double E, which is pronounced as one vowel sound, which is long E. In fox, we have a consonant, then a vowel, then a consonant, then a consonant. You can notice that X is composed of 2 consonants, not just one. K, then S. Now, from phonetic point of view, a vowel is sound articulated with a voiced aggressive air stream without any closure or narrowing, giving rise to inaudible friction. Let's explain more. In phonetics, we deal with sounds, not letters, so a vowel is considered as a kind of sounds. It is produced with a voiced. By voiced, we mean vibration in the vocal cords. Aggressive is the opposite of ingressive, that is, the air is moving out of the vocal tract, or it is pushed out of the lungs. Airstream, that is, we produce vowels using air in the vocal tract without any closure or narrowing. It means that we do not close the passage for the air when we produce vowels. Given rise to inaudible friction, it means that vowels are produced without any kind of friction, so there is no friction in the articulation or production of vowel sounds. There are 20 vowel sounds in English, 12 monophthongs, which means one symbol or one vowel sound. We have 7 short vowels, which are A, A, O, O, U, E, and 5 long vowels, E, A, O, E, U. In monophthongs, we have only one symbol for short vowels, and the colon or 2 points to show that the vowel is long. And we have 8 diphthongs, 5 closing diphthongs, which are A, I, Oi, Ow, O, and 3 central diphthongs, a, ia, ua, like in chair, here, and pua. Before we start describing vowels in details, let's explain the difference between vowels and consonants. The words vowel and consonant are very familiar. You all know the difference between a vowel and a consonant when it comes to letters of the alphabet. But when we study sounds of speech scientifically, we can find that it is not easy to define. The most common points of difference are listed below as follows. For vowels, there is no significant constriction of the vocal tract. It means that we do not stop the air when we produce the vowel sounds. For consonants, there is significant constriction of the vocal tract. When we produce consonantal sounds, we stop the air either completely or partially. For vowels, the sounds are open. That is, the air is free. For consonants, the sound is constricted. It means that there is a blockage of the air somewhere in the vocal tract. In vowel sagittal midline of the vocal tract remains open, which means that the vocal tract is free. In consonants, constriction occurs along sagittal midline of the vocal tract. It means in the vocal tract we have pauses of the air. All the vowels are voiced. It means they are produced with a vibration in the vocal cords. For consonants, we have some of them are voiced and some others are unvoiced. That is, either there is a vibration in the vocal cords like in z, or there is no vibration in the vocal cords like in s, sh. The vowels acoustically are more intense, that is, we push more air in the vocal tract to produce the vowel. Consonants acoustically are less intense, that is, we need less air in the production of consonants. Vowels demonstrate more sonority, that is, deep sound in the vocal tract. In consonants, we have less sonority, because most of them are voiceless. Vowels function as syllable nuclei, that is, they are the core of the syllable. Without a vowel, we cannot find a separate syllable. Consonants are optional in syllable. We can find the consonant in syllable or not. And only specific consonants can function as syllable nuclei, only in specific cases, like in syllabic consonants.
English vowel sounds are affected by the change in shape and position of the articulators, i.e. the organs of speech. The different vowels can be categorized according to 4 features. Number 1, the stability of articulation. According to this feature, the articulation of English vowels is subdivided into monophthongs, diphthongs, and triphthongs. The articulation of monophthongs is almost fixed, unchanging throughout their pronunciation. In the articulation of diphthongs, the organs of speech glide from one vowel position to another. Triphthongs are articulated like diphthongs, but end with a schwa. Number 2 is the shape of the lips. They can be rounded, spread, or neutral. According to lip position, vowels can be rounded with neutral or spread lips, like in e, a, e, or rounded like in o, u, o. For instance, the lips are rounded in the word new, but spread in B. When pronouncing B, you feel like you are smiling. This is what we mean by spread lips. Okay, the third point is the shape or the position of the tongue in the mouth, high or low. We mean the part of the tongue involved in the articulation and its shape or advancement. For example, a front vowel is a vowel produced with the front of the tongue in opposite to alveolar ridge and moving to the front. A central vowel is articulated when the center of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate and resting in the center. A back vowel is articulated when the back of the tongue is retracted towards the soft palate and moving backwards. Depending on the position or height of the raised part of the tongue, vowels are divided into a close or high vowels, produced when the tongue is raised high towards palate. Open or low vowel, produced when the tongue is placed low in mouth cavity. A mid-vowel is produced when the position of the tongue is intermediate between the high and the low. Therefore, we get mid-high and mid-low vowels. So in terms of vowel description, there is still a fourth point, which is the duration of the vowel, long or short. When a vowel takes a short period of time are the short vowels, whereas long vowels are longer. English vowels are long or short, as we have mentioned earlier. So for us, in order to characterize vowels satisfactorily, the cardinal chart or the cardinal vowel system was introduced at the beginning of the 20th century by the English phonetician Daniel Jones. So in order to represent the quality of vowels and diphthongs, we place them on a four-sided figure, usually known as the cardinal vowel quadrilateral. We call it quadrilateral because it has four reference points. Therefore, the cardinal vowels are a standard reference system to describe, classify, and compare vowels. Although precise description of vowels is difficult, but the vowel diagram is the best scheme used for classifying vowels, in which we have three horizontal labels for the position of the tongue: front, central, and back. In the mouth, opposing the soft palate. On the other hand, we have four vertical lines for the shape of the tongue or the degree of opening of the mouth: close, close mid, open mid, and open. In the cardinal vowels chart, we can place all the vowel sounds of English. The set of phonemes consists of two categories: vowel sounds and consonant sounds. This part is devoted to vowel sounds. For starters, vowels are speech sounds that involve pulmonic air, where you produce the sound by pushing air from your lungs out of your body through the mouth and sometimes the nose. Vowel sounds are all voiced. We have, in English, 20 vowel sounds. 12 are monophthongs and 8 are diphthongs. There are also triphthongs, and in English we have 3 triphthongs. So the total of vowels would be 23. Let's go back to monophthongs. We said that we have, in English, 12 monophthongs. 7 are short and 5 are long. By monophthongs we mean a vowel that stands alone. We can call them monophthongs or simple vowels or pure vowels. Okay? The 7 short vowels are I, like in the word hit. We write it as le E français, and we pronounce it like in the word set. The third short vowel is the A flower, like in the word hat. Another A is called the upside down V, V. It's a V and written in a topsy-turvy way. An example is the word run. Sometimes you find it difficult when transcribing when to put the A flower and the upside down V. I've noticed, and it's not a rule, it's my own remark, that the words written with U, when transcribing them, we put the upside down V, and all the rest are transcribed with the A flower. I'm not sure of this 100%, but I think that the majority, if not 90% of words written with U are transcribed with the upside down V. This is just a trick, so you will not get confused when transcribing words. We proceed. We have another short vowel, which is O, like the word dog. Dog. Another one is U, like the word book, not book, it's book. Book, a short U. The last short vowel is the schwa, schwa, like in the word about, go, about, ago. These are the 7 short vowels. The other 5 long ones are E, as in the word beat or heat. Ah, or long A, as in the word far or car. Long O, or O, like in the word call, call. A long schwa, like bird, third, heard. The long U, as in the word food. You notice there is a difference. Book and food. Book, food. The first one is short, the second one is a bit longer. These are the monophthongs, or the simple or the pure vowels. Let's go now to the diphthongs. A diphthong is a combination of 2 vowels, D, like the word D, diphthong. So there is a glide or a movement from one vowel to another. We have 5 closing diphthongs and 3 centering diphthongs. The 5 closing are A, like in the word play, stay. Okay? The second one is I, like in the word try, cry. Okay? The third one is oi, such as the word toy, destroy. The fourth one is ow, for example, how, now, house. The last closing vowel is O, a combination of a schwa plus the short U, O, like in go, low, no. The articulation of pure vowels. Description of long E. The soft palate, as you can notice in the chart, is raised and the nasal resonators shut off. The front of the tongue is raised slightly below and behind the front closed position. There's a firm contact between the side rims of the tongue and the upper side teeth. The lips are spread. So, in this monophthong, the front of the tongue is slightly behind and below the close front position. The close front position, i.e., it is the position where the tongue is closest to the roof of the mouth. Number 2 is short E. Description of the articulation of short E. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity shut off. This short vowel is articulated with a part of the tongue nearer to center than to front. The tongue is raised above the mid-close position. The side rims contact with the upper molars slightly. The lips are loosely spread. So the tongue here is more relaxed. Number 3 is le E français, or pronounced in English as A. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity shut off. The front of the tongue is raised between the mid-close and mid-open positions. So in this vowel, the tongue is between the half open and half closed positions. Lips are loosely spread and the tongue is tenser than for the short E. The sides of the tongue may touch the upper molars. Number 4, the A flower. The soft palate in this case is raised and the nasal cavity shut off. The front of the tongue is raised below the mid-open position. The rims make a very light contact with the back upper molars. Lips are neutrally open.
C. Agree. Eat. Seat. Team.
Field. Peace. These. Meter. Secret. Evening. Equal. Peter. Key. Ski. Kilo. Liter. Pizza. Police. Machine.
People.
If.
Ship.
Miss. Dinner. Swim.
Busy. Building. System.
History. Honey.
Village.
Check. Leg. Letter. Red. Sentence. Bread. Head. Red. Friend. Any. Many. Again. Said. Back. Camera. Factory. Hat. Jam. Manager. Map. Plan. Traffic.
Family.
Beat. Bit.
Heel. Hill.
Lead. Lid.
Neat.
Knit. Teen. Tin.
Bet. Bat.
Hell.
Hal.
Lead. Lad.
Set. Sat.
Ten. Tan.
Can you see the C? 2.
A piece of pizza, please.
3. Peter's in the team. 4.
A kilo of peaches and a litre of cream.
5. Please can you teach me to speak Portuguese? 1,
Tell me again.
2. Send me a cheque. 3,
Correct these sentences.
4. 20 to 12. 5.
Help your friend.
56. 2,
Dinner in the kitchen.
3. A cinema ticket. 4,
A picture of a building.
5. Big business.
Thanks for the cash.
2. I ran to the bank. 3,
Where's my black jacket?
4. That man works in a jam factory. 5.
Let me carry your bags.
Central vowels now. The articulation of the long schwa. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity is shut off. You can notice that the nasal cavity is till the moment shut off. Okay, it is always shut off, except with the nasal, sounds. The long schwa is articulated with the center of the tongue raised between the mid-close and mid-open positions. A light contact is made between the rims and the upper molars. Lips are neutrally open. Schwa, we have the soft palate raised and the nasal cavity shut off. The center of the tongue is raised between the half closed and half open. When the vowel is in non-final positions alone, suppose, but in final position, doctor, mother, picture. The center of the tongue is in the mid-open position. Lips are neutrally open. The upside down V, the A. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity is again shut off. The center of the tongue is raised above the open position. There is no contact between the tongue and the upper molars. The lips are neutrally open.
Bus. Colour. Come. Cup. Front. London. Luck. Monday. Month. Mother. Much. Nothing. Number. Run. Study. Son. Uncle. Under. Bird. First. Birthday. Circle. 30. Word. Work. World. Worse. Worst. Turn. Thursday. Journey. Early. Earth. Heard. Learn. Service. Prefer. Verb.
Bird. Bud.
Lurk. Luck.
Burn. Bun.
Hurt. Hut. Curt. Cut.
bird, bard,
lurk, lark,
burn, barn,
hurt, heart,
curt,
cart, bud, bad,
luck, lack,
bun, ban,
hut,
hat.
cut.
cat.
Good luck with your exam next month.
2,
Take the number 1 bus.
3,
I said come on Monday, not come on Sunday.
4.
My brother's studying in London.
The girl was watching the birds. How far's the car park? That was the worst journey in the world. Have you ever heard this word? The cakes weren't very good. She went to university to learn German.
We move now to the articulations of the back vowels. The long A. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity shut off. The long AP vowel is articulated with a part of the tongue between the center and the back in the fully open position. Lips are neutrally open. The O, soft palate raised and nasal cavity shut off. For this short vowel, the back of the tongue is in the fully open position. Lips are slightly rounded. The long O, soft palate is raised and nasal cavity shut off. For this long vowel, the back of the tongue is raised between the mid-open and mid-close positions. There is a medium lip rounding. Short U. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity shut off. The short vowel is articulated with a part of the tongue near to center, then to back, above the mid-close position, with a slight contact between the rims and the upper molars. Lips are loosely rounded. Long U. The soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity shut off. There is a redundancy because always there is a raise towards the soft palate and the nasal cavity is shut off. This long vowel is articulated with a part of the tongue somewhat advanced from true back and raised just below the close position with a light contact with the upper molars. Lips are closely rounded. This is for monophthongs or pure vowels. We move now to diphthongs and triphthongs.
After. Afternoon. Ask. Answer. Bath. Bathroom. Can't. Class. Dance. Fast. Father. Glass. Tomato. Car. Card. Far. Park. Star. Start. Bottle. Box. Chocolate. Clock. Coffee. Copy. Cost. Cross.
got,
Quality. Want. Wash. Wasn't. Watch. What.
All, bowl, call,
fall,
tall, wall,
quarter,
warm, water,
born,
short,
autumn,
door,
saw,
before,
daughter,
taught, thought,
full,
sugar,
book,
foot,
wood, woman,
good,
look,
put, two, group, shoe, blue,
music, new,
two, fruit, juice, port, pot,
cord, cod,
stalk, stock, port,
part, born, barn, court, cart,
Pool.
pull,
fool, full,
suit,
soot,
good, God,
look, lock,
put, pot,
I'll ask my aunt where is my glasses. See you tomorrow afternoon. You can find him on the 4th floor. John has gone to the shops. The dinner will be ready soon.
He bought a lot of books and novels.
Overview of the English vowels. In British English, we have 20 vowel sounds divided into 5 long vowels. E, R, O, U. And 7 short vowels. E, R, A, U, and O. In addition to the previous 12 pure vowels, we have 8 gliding vowels, which are a combination of 2 short vowels that make one sound called a diphthong. A, oi, I, ua, o, and ow. Triphthongs are the following diphthongs: a, oi, I, o, ow, plus a schwa, as follows: ea, oya, aya, ewa, awa. A diphthong or a gliding vowel is a term used in the phonetic classification of vowel sounds. It refers to a glide or a movement from one vowel to another, one in which the first part is more prominent than the last. It involves a change in quality within the one vowel. They are classified according to their ending into 2 types as follows: closing diphthongs end in e, like a, oi, I, or in u, like o and ow. Centering diphthongs end in a, like in ea, ua. The closing diphthongs ending in short e. Description of the articulation of a. The starting point is a, where the glide begins from slightly the mid-close front position and moves in the direction of e. To form the diphthong a, there's a slight closing movement of the lower jaw. The lips are spread. Characteristics of the diphthong a. The glide begins in the position for a, moving up and slightly back towards a. Lips are spread. Examples: cake, way, say, pain, they, vain. Description of the articulation of I. The diphthong I begins at a point slightly behind the front open position a. It is similar to the articulation of a and moves towards the vowel e. I is more extensive than a, in which there is more movement in the lower jaw to open position. The lips shift from neutral to loosely spread position. Characteristics of I. The glide begins in an open position between front and center, moving up and slightly forward towards A. Lips move from neutral to loosely spread, as in high, tie, buy, kite, might, cry, and I. Description of the articulation of oi. The gliding vowel oi, the tongue begins at a point between the mid-open and mid-back positions nearer to long o, then to short o. Then it moves in the direction of e. The tongue movement extends from back to centralized front position. The lips are open rounded for the first element, then change into neutral for the second. Characteristics of oi. The glide begins in the position for long o, oi, moving up and forward towards e. The lips start open and rounded and change to neutral. Oi, okay, rounded and as if you are going to a smile, as in toy, avoid, voice, enjoy, and boy. The closing diphthongs end in u. Description of the articulation of o. The beginning of the diphthong is at the central position between mid-close and mid-open position, which is the schwa, and moves in the direction of u. There's a slight closing movement of the lower jaw. The lips are neutral for first and slightly rounded for the second element. Characteristics of o. The glide begins in the position for a, moving up and back towards u. The lips are neutral but change to loosely rounded, as in go, snow, toast, home, hello, and although. Description of the articulation of ow. The diphthong begins with a vowel similar to long a, ow. Then there is a large movement to the vowel u in order to get ow. This glide towards u begins but is not completed, in which the end of the diphthong is somewhere between mid-close and mid-open. There's a slight lip rounding in the articulation of this diphthong. Characteristics: the glide begins in a position quite similar to long a, moving up towards u. The lips start neutral with a movement to loosely rounded. The glide is not always completed as the movement involved is extensive, like in the words house, loud, down, how, and bow. Centering diphthongs. Description of the articulation of ear. This RP diphthong, ear, begins with a position approximately to short e, a mid-close and centralized front position. The glide moves towards a and to more open and final position in the words, as in here, but not so extensive in position of the word, as in weird, weird. The lips are neutral with a slight movement from spread to open. Its characteristics: there is a glide that begins in the position for short e, moving down and back towards schwa. The lips are neutral, but with a small movement from spread to open. Example: beer, fear, pierce, in, here, idea. Description of the articulation of ua. There is a glide from a tongue position similar to short u, then moves towards the vowel a. It moves to more the center when the diphthong occurs in a word medial position. However, it is more open in word final position, such as poor. The lips are rounded at the beginning, then neutral as the glide progresses. Characteristics: the glide begins in a position for u, moving forwards and down towards a. The lips are loosely rounded, becoming neutrally spread. sure, moor, tour, obscure. Description of the articulation of a. It begins with a mid-open front position and moves to more open variety of a, especially in word final position as in there. However, in word medial position, the second element a tends to be neutral as in parent. The lips are neutral throughout the diphthong. Characteristics: the glide begins in the position for a, moving back towards schwa. The lips remain neutrally open. Examples: where, chair, dare, stare, there. This is the part for diphthongs. We move now to triphthongs. An additional term used is triphthongs. Triphthongs are articulated like diphthongs with a starting point and an ending plus a schwa at the end. We have 5 triphthongs in the English language. The first one is a, ya. You can notice we have a diphthong and then a schwa. Aya, like in the word layer, player. Second one is aya, fire, tire. The third one, oya, employer, sawyer. The fourth, hour, like in power, shower. And the last one is hour, like in lower, slower.
Here is a summary of all the vowel sounds that we have introduced in this course, including monophthongs, diphthongs, with example words. All the time look up in the dictionary for new words that you don't know its pronunciation and transcription. Don't forget that practice makes perfect. Thank you so much for your attention.